In this movie, I'll show you how to add gradually fading transitions between video clips and anything else that you add to your composition here inside Photoshop. Now, we happen to have a total of 4 video clips that are arranged inside of a single track, which means that we want to add what's known as crossfades. And you create a crossfade by clicking on this transition icon, located right next door to the scissors. And then you select crossfade from the list and dial in a duration, which is 1 second by default. And that's just fine by me. To apply the crossfade, go ahead and drag it and drop it onto the seam between 2 video clips. And that'll tuck one of the video clips into the other. And let me show you what I mean by that. I'll go ahead and zoom in a little bit here by clicking on that mountain icon. And then I'll select that first earth clip. And notice that it is still 9 seconds long. We can see that it still goes to this midpoint between 8 and 10 seconds. And then the air clip remains 5 seconds long. It goes from now 8 to 13 seconds. And then we've got this 1 second right here where the 2 clips overlap. And the crossfade is shown as 2 overlapping triangles. All right, now we need to duplicate that crossfade onto the next seam here. And you do that by just reapplying it. So bring up the transition panel, drag crossfade, and drop it onto the seam between those 2 movies, and that'll go ahead and tuck fire into air as we're seeing here. And you can really see the tuck happen at the end of the movie. So notice that the movie ends at 22 seconds long. As soon as I add a crossfade by dragging it and dropping it onto the seam between the fire and water clips, that tucks the water in a second, and as a result, our movie is now 21 seconds long. All right, now I want to create a layer of black. And the reason is that eventually I want to create my initial titles against the black background and then fade into this earth clip and then fade, of course, throughout the clips and then have water fade back to black at the end. Now, you do have the option of adding a fade with black or a fade with white or even a fade with color transition. However, you're going to get more flexible results if you just fade to a black background, and then you can decide how long that blackness is going to last. And it's just as easy to pull off, and here's how. Go ahead and click on the Movies group here inside the Layers panel. Then press and hold the Alt key, or the Option key on the Mac. Click the black-white icon at the bottom of the panel, and choose Solid Color. And because you pressed Alt or Option, that brings up the New Layer dialog box so we can name the layer. And I'll go ahead and call mine Black, and then click OK. Inside the color picker, make sure that the color actually is black, and then click OK to create that layer. Now notice that this new layer is automatically added to the timeline panel, and it comes in as purple. So the idea here is anything blue is a video clip, anything purple is not. It's some other kind of Photoshop layer. Also notice that it automatically got added to the same track, which is not what we want at all. We want this layer of black to be located on an independent track. And to make that happen, move it out of the Movies group by dragging this black layer all the way down to the bottom of the Layers panel, beyond the edge of the group, and then dropping it outside the group like so. And that'll go ahead and create a new track called Black that contains just this one black object. All right, now I want to make this thing last the entire length of the movie. Unfortunately, you can't right-click inside the object and choose a duration. Instead, the easiest thing to do is to zoom out so that you can see the entire timeline, and then drag the left edge all the way to 0. And now I want to drag the right edge all the way to 36. So I'll just go ahead and drag it until I see 36 like so, and then I'll release. And now I want to move the other clips inside of this area. So I'll zoom back in just a little bit here, and I'll click on the earth clip and then shift-click on a water clip in order to select this entire range of layers so you can track exactly what's selected at any given time inside the Layers panel. And then I'll go ahead and move my playhead to exactly 6 seconds. And another way to do that, besides dragging, is to right-click on the playhead and choose Go to Time. And then you can just dial in 6 seconds like so and click OK. And that'll move that playhead to exactly the right location. And now we can drag all of these clips together and have them snap into place at that position. All right, now I'm going to go ahead and zoom in on the playhead a little bit. And I want to create a transition from black. Notice right now we go from absolute black right into the video. I want to create a fade between the two. And so go ahead and click on the transition icon once again. Grab fade, a duration of 1 second is just fine, and drag it onto the beginning of that movie. And Photoshop automatically knows, because you hit the beginning of the movie, that you want to fade the movie in at this point. Then let's go all the way to the end of the movie here, or very close to it, actually, to the end of the water clip. And now click on the transition icon again, grab fade, and drag it and drop it on the end of the movie. And that'll go ahead and create a fade out. And to show you, I'll go ahead and click up here in the time bar to move the playhead to this location. And then I'll go ahead and drag like so, and you can see the water fade out. Now, I'd actually like to see a longer fade. So what I'm going to do here is right-click inside of this water clip and change the duration to 8 seconds this time around. And then I'll go ahead and scroll over to the right. And to change the duration of a transition, you just right-click on it, on that little transition icon, and then you dial in a new value. For example, I'll change it to 3 seconds, and then press the Enter key or the Return key to accept that change. All right, so that's how you add gradually fading transitions between video clips and other layers inside of Photoshop. In the next movie, I'll show you how to take advantage of some great keyboard tricks, which we are now officially very much in need of.